Hello everyone, my name is Krish and I'm excited to be talking to you about a hybrid cloud deployment of Red Hat Quay with Crossplane on Openshift today. So for some quick context about myself, I'm a software engineer in the Red Hat office of the CTO, and I'm a maintainer on the provider AWS and provider in-cluster repositories. My Twitter is Krish Chow, and my GitHub is also Krish Chow. So what are the objectives of this project? Firstly, we want to explore hybrid cloud with Crossplane. We want to integrate and compose different resources to deploy Quay in our cluster. We want to integrate the existing Quay operator and create a reusable and automated package for all of our compositions. Um, so for some quick context, something that we've already seen in the Crossplane ecosystem is an increase in adoption of providers. And providers are basically packages that enable Crossplane to provision services or provision infrastructure on external services. And so we've seen, provider pizza, provider SQL, provider Helm, and a growing library of these providers. But something that's currently lacking is a consistent and interface compliant way of provisioning resources inside of our Kubernetes cluster. That's where the provider or the in-cluster provider comes in. We want to mimic the interface of cloud provision resources and fulfill our compositions with any implementation. So combining bare metal, in-cluster resources with cloud resources, fully completing that hybrid cloud picture. So for this demo, what are some of the different components? We have a custom catalog source that we'll be using for our operator, which has our predefined business and reconcile logic. This allows us to use existing OLM and operator SDK tooling. We also use the AWS provider for all of our AWS cloud resources. Namely, we're using Elasticache, S3, and Postgres. This gives us the benefits of networking security and IAM that come built in with AWS. And lastly, we're using the Helm provider and in-cluster provider, right? Both of those will help us manage the lifecycle of our operators and the lifecycle of Quay. This gives us access to more granular resources and jobs in Kubernetes. So what are the different steps? I don't like to abstract away too much. So first things first, we're going to be installing our catalog source, running all of our RBAC, installing Crossplane the providers. We're going to follow that up by installing our configuration, which is in the GitHub repository, setting up our provider config, configuring the requirement, and the last step, which is basically where I'm going to take us, we're going to create the requirement. So let's run the demo. And so essentially to run the demo, all you have to do is hit make Quay. So let's do that. So let's let this run in the background, and we'll come back to this in 1 second. So the demo has been running for about 30 seconds now, and you can see that the bucket secret is already up and available. Through some TV magic, we've gone forward a bit in time, and we're now just at the point where all of our AWS resources are finishing up, and they're propagating their secrets into our namespace. And so if we give it 1 more second, we'll see that all of our secrets will be available. So if we check, we can see that our Redis connection information is already available, all the keys. Our Postgres keys are also all available inside of the secret, and so are all of our S3 bucket keys. Now we can see that our Quay deployment is starting to spin up. The Quay config pods are already starting, and our prepdb job has also run. So let's come back to this in 1 more second. After a few more moments, we'll see that our deployments are now complete and all of our pods are up. So if we switch over to the networking tab in the Openshift Container Platform web console, we'll see that Openshift has exposed some routes where we can access our Quay instance. And so we could set this up as a container registry with our Podman or Docker CLI. So with that, our demo is complete. Feel free to open up an issue on the GitHub repo if you have any questions. And thank you for watching.